Just going to go over with you the IB Art Spring and Summer assignment. First thing you're going to want to do is open up all the documents that are attached in the Google Classroom. Here is Google Classroom. And this is the IB theme and comparative study research. There is a bunch of different documents in here, and you're going to want to open them up. You're going to start with number 1. This is finding your IB theme. There's a list here of different themes. Read through these, and you might find that you find a connection to one of these. These are just the tip of the iceberg in regards to possible themes, okay? So if you don't find anything here that is interesting, well, you can research it some more. All right, so then you're going to go to document number 2. You're going to answer these questions right here. What are you passionate about and why? What are you sensitive about and why? What's nice about these questions is it could help you to possibly develop a theme, because this should be, your response to this should be something that you are very driven by, okay? You feel passionate about it. You have a connection to it. And so when you answer these questions, you might be able to derive from these responses a possible IB theme. And so then what you want to write here in this box in the middle is maybe a summary of what these ideas represent. So you place that summary right here. And then in these boxes, you're going to start to explore visuals that represent this idea. You can place images, you can put words, and it'll look something like this on slide number 3. Okay, so it'll look, I'm gonna go ahead and present this. All right, so it'll look something like this. All right, so what you see over here on your left. Okay, and then we're gonna come back. All right, so then you're gonna go to number 3, and what this does, it helps you to define your idea even more. So you're gonna answer these questions. How do these ideas connect, not only to your theme, but to each other? So we're talking about whatever it is you put in these boxes. So you have image A and image B. How does image A connect to image B? All right, so then you want to answer those questions there. Number 2, which of these ideas are more fully developed and can be your first project of the year? Number 3, which ideas need more research and development? What are the different materials you are considering for each concept? Some projects may work out better depending upon the media or the materials that you use to create it. And number 5, is there a technique or style that you are interested in experimenting with? So this could be a photo technique, a painting technique, any kind of technique. And then right here, I want you to write a statement that kind of outlines your IB theme, and this could be a rough draft. So it looks something like this on slide 3. So right here is a possible IB theme. Okay. Now you're going to come to number 4, and this is where you're going to start to plan some projects, okay? So these are the 5 things you're going to look for. You're going to put some images that represent your project idea. You're going to give it a title, put some images that represent your project idea. You're going to list websites that help you find those images. Maybe the websites will be techniques websites, or even YouTube sites where you have like how to create or how to make YouTube videos on particular projects. So any kind of websites that will help you make the project. Then you're going to kind of briefly tell us the idea of your project, any resources that you're going to need, and then possible dates of when you might create the artwork. Okay, so you're going to do 2 project ideas, and here are the areas that you're going to fill in, and it'll look something like this. Okay? Once you're done with that, you're going to start to research your comparative study. So the comparative study, if we go over here to slide number 4, we kind of start talking about that, okay? So a comparative study is basically a historical research project, okay? And it's based on artists and their work. You want to think about some possible artists who maybe created work around the same IB theme that you selected. So you'll go and I've given you a few different websites that you can go to. Theartstory.org is a website that has hundreds of artists. You can search by artist, by art movement, by theme, and you might be able to find some possible artists. Here's another one called Art21. Okay, so these are just 2 possible websites that you can use. One thing I do want to point out is that you need to make sure that you find a reputable artist, somebody who has research done on them. So you wouldn't want to just choose some random Instagram artist who only posts their work on Instagram, who has no research done on their work. So that's why I recommended this website here or this one, because these websites tend to have artists that have research done on them. Okay. Also, you can pick either 2 artists and select 2 different artworks from one artist and one from another, or you could do 3 separate artists and 3 separate pieces of artwork. And one thing you also want to take into consideration is that you need to have the 2 artists or 3 artists need to come from different historical time periods and different art movements. So if we look at this example here, we have Cindy Sherman, who is a contemporary photographer. This piece was created in 2000. And we also have Frida Kahlo, who's a surrealist painter, and her artwork was created in 1943. So we have like a 60-year difference here, completely different medias, completely different art movements. This way, you'll be able to make a much better comparison between these artist works. And also, you want to make sure you don't go with something that's too famous. For example, Starry, Starry Night. Even Frida Kahlo is a little bit overdone in regards to some of her work. But these 2 pieces are her less known works. So if you are going to go with a very, very famous artist, try to choose something that's a little more obscure, but at the same time, you do have to have research done on it. All right. So then I recommend that you look through this slide. This is all of the assessments for IB Art. Here is the actual 3 assessments: comparative study, process portfolio, and exhibition. It is all projects based. So you're going to want to look through these slides just to make sure you know exactly what you're going to be turning in when we are completely done with all the assessments. You're going to be turning in a comparative study that looks similar to what you see here in these examples. You're going to be turning in process pages that look something like this, that show the documentation of your work. And you're also going to be creating an exhibition, which will have a curatorial rationale, exhibition text, and a display of artwork that looks something like this or like this.